Hi, I'm Ken Kessler, and welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. If you're not new, welcome back. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Now, to avoid any confusion, I want to start off by saying there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. A note popped up in my Facebook memories today from 2009. I thought it was worth sharing again after a significant update. At the time, I was getting ready to put the Sounds of Christmas back on the air for what was our upcoming third season. At that time, the Sounds of Christmas went live at some point in October and then ended on January 7th after Epiphany. I started that note by thanking the thousands that had connected to us on social media, mostly MySpace, but Twitter and Facebook were starting to build. And while the numbers and platforms have changed, the sentiment is still the same. Most of the listeners to the Sounds of Christmas are not connected to our social media sites. To be honest, I'm not even sure how they stay connected. Maybe it's as simple as having the Sounds of Christmas bookmarked on their computer or device, or maybe they just use our app, or maybe it's something else that I'm just not aware of. Whatever the case, I am very grateful. It's an honor and a privilege to spend at least part of the season with so many all over the globe. While we're not on MySpace anymore, we are still on Facebook and Twitter, and we're now on Instagram, and recently we joined Threads, Post, and Blue Sky. So if you'd like to be connected, you have a bunch of options. If you're interested, just check out the show notes, and you'll find links to all of the social media sites that we're on. In this note from 2009, I also explained what the Sounds of Christmas is, and maybe I shouldn't take it for granted that you already know that. So just in case, here's what I wrote back then. For those who don't know, the Sounds of Christmas is an internet Christmas radio station. For those who haven't discovered internet radio yet, it simply means it's like a radio station, but available online instead of through a traditional radio. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a lot better. I'm a huge fan of Christmas music, and I always have been. Increasingly over the years, I became more and more disillusioned with the way those traditional radio stations went about playing Christmas music. Year after year, they seemed to roll out the same 100 songs right around Thanksgiving and play them all over and over until Christmas Day. It's no wonder that so many people groan when this begins each November. There are tons of great Christmas albums out there, and most seem to get ignored while Bing's White Christmas and Nat's Christmas Song get featured seemingly every hour. Don't get me wrong, I love Bing Crosby and Nat King Cole. I love Frank Sinatra, Rosemary Clooney, Andy Williams, Judy Garland, Johnny Mathis, and the Chipmunks too. But there's a lot more than just those standards, and I can't be the only one that loves all the rest of the Christmas music. That's what I wrote then. After that, I thanked Mannheim Steamroller. They had sponsored the first two seasons of The Sounds of Christmas, celebrating a brand new Christmas CD each year, and each year both releases shot up the charts. More than anything, that should have shown those traditional radio stations that people love new Christmas music just as much as the old stuff. If that didn't underscore my point, I also brought up in that note Josh Groban. His Christmas CD, which debuted in 2007, sold so well it broke records held by Elvis Presley. In fact, it went on to become the best-selling CD of the year. Not just the best-selling Christmas CD, but the best-selling CD, period. In 2009, I pointed out that listeners to the Sounds of Christmas the previous year got to hear new holiday music from singers and bands as diverse as Los Lonely Boys, Harry Connick Jr., Tommy James, Aretha Franklin, Weezer, Billy Bob Thornton, Carrie Underwood, the Archies, the Pretenders, Celtic Woman, Enya, Faith Hill, Greg London, Juliana Hough, Katy Perry, Neil Sedaka, Lorena McKennitt, Kristen Chenoweth, Sheryl Crow, Melissa Etheridge, The Plain White Tees, Sarah Brightman, Roy Halladay, Spyro Gyra, Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, Sixpence None the Richer, Tony Bennett, U2, and Straight No Chaser. In 2022, listeners to the Sounds of Christmas were treated to new music from Alanis Morissette, Harry Connick Jr., Alicia Keys, Ingrid Michaelson and A Great Big World, Blaine Howard, Jim Brickman, Bob Soroyce, Jimmy Barnes, Andre Bocelli, Cliff Beach, Joss Stone, Grant Malloy Smith, Jane Monheit, The Backstreet Boys, Joyce Cooling, Blake Shelton, Lindsey Sterling, Macy Gray, Bryan Adams, Norah Jones, Olivia Rox, The Offspring, Chris Isaak, Laurie Berkner, Pentatonix, Straight No Chaser, Michael Sinatra, Switchfoot, Cliff Richard, David Foster and Catherine McPhee, Paul Kelly, Rhonda Birchmore, Debbie Gibson, A Girl Named Tom, Sarah Partridge, and Gloria Estefan, just to name a few. In 2009, the Sounds of Christmas playlist was well over 3,000 tracks. In 2023, it's more than 5 times that. I explained that while I love Bing's White Christmas, having such a wide and diverse playlist meant that song didn't get played every hour on the hour. Besides, Bing has lots of other great Christmas songs. In fact, all the artists I've mentioned have more than just one Christmas hit. It seemed really short-sighted and a disservice to Christmas music fans to ignore that and just play the same ones over and over. And it still does. This station was something I'd wanted to do for a long time. And thanks to Mannheim Steamroller's sponsorship during those first few years, I was able to make it happen. At the writing of this original note, I was getting ready to start it up again. Now, while the station is on, I'm getting ready for an all-new season, which will begin on November 1st. From that point in that note, I went into a pitch about advertising or buying things from our online store. This year, as I type this, I'm just about sold out of advertising spots, and we no longer have an online store. That means I'm not asking you to buy or pay for anything. The best way you can support us is by listening. The Sounds of Christmas is on right now, so as we roll through September, anytime you need a little musical Christmas spirit, I hope you'll stop by. On October 1st, the Sounds of Christmas becomes the Sounds of Halloween, and for the entire month, you'll only hear Halloween music there. And then, on November 1, the new season begins, with thousands of great Christmas songs, including new holiday music from David Arkenstone, Tommy Prophet, Cher, Pentatonix, Johnny Mathis, David Foster and Catherine McPhee, John Party, Kate Rusby, and Creed's Mark Tremonti, just to name a few. There will be many, many more. Thanks so much for listening and for continuing to support the Sounds of Christmas station and podcast. I already told you how to listen to the station, and you're already listening to this podcast, so my work here is just about done. All of our episodes are available on the Sounds of Christmas website. Just click the podcast tab. We also have a Linktree page, so you can find us on your favorite streaming site, and you'll find the link to that below. Then you can find most, if not all, of the sites that have our podcast, and you can subscribe, and you'll never miss another episode. If you have comments or suggestions on this episode, previous episodes, the Sounds of Christmas station, or the Sounds of Halloween, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through the website. Thanks again. And may you always believe in Santa Claus.